Okay, so this is 14.2 design and exercise programs for client 1. So firstly, my client's name is Charlie Inkpen. He's 20 years of age. His occupation is a food factory worker. He has a medical background, is an asthmatic, previous smoker, and he is under some stress right now. Nutritional background includes that he snacks on salty crisps, but he does stay hydrated. The reason he snacks may be due to how he's a food factory worker, and he snacks on his own products that he produces. His barriers are his lack of concentration and motivation to go to the gym and start exercising. However, he does have an interest in football, but his lifestyle is affected by sleep deprivation. I think this may be due to his work as well. So, firstly, the client's targets for this program, and Charlie wishes to participate in this program so that he can lose around a pound a week. We have agreed that we can do this by building up his cardiovascular fitness, as this is one of the most effective ways of losing weight. A good way of increasing cardiovascular fitness is by doing continuous training, which is working for a long period of time without rest. And to measure this, we would participate in a multi-stage fitness test at the end of the week 1, and then at the end of week 6 to see if we made any improvement. And then over the 6 weeks, we have agreed that he would like to reach level 11 of the test, which is above the average score for the 17 to 20-year-olds. To measure if Charlie has lost a pound he wants in the week, I'll weigh him after each week. And then for Charlie to build his motivation in the gym, he will firstly need to build confidence when being around equipment and being in a gym environment. I should stick with Charlie over the first week, show him the basics and how to start feeling comfortable about knowing what he's doing. This is important, as I don't want Charlie to be left on his own to timidly find out about the gym. Yeah, he may start feeling uncomfortable and feel he is inclined to leave. Hopefully after around the first week, Charlie will be able to come into the gym confidently and work thoroughly in what he wants to achieve. So moving on to the program, this is week 1, and on a Monday, to warm up, firstly you will start with a 5-minute treadmill activity, working at around a 9 on Charlie's rate of perceived exertion or RPE. So probably the highest level he will go up to is 20 on his RPE, which is a rate of perceived exertion. And as we have now warmed up the muscles, so they are able to become more supple from the treadmill activity, we'll move on to dynamic stretches, which we base specifically around the legs, as it is the main muscle group when training for cardiovascular fitness. You do a lot of running. The warm-ups will be more or less the same and contain the same content over the weeks. With them, just based the stretches over the legs. Obviously, he will also stretch other parts of his body, but he needs to focus on the legs specifically. And to exercise for the main workout, I want to see how Charlie will do in his first go at the multi-stage fitness test, and see how I can progress him over the weeks. I want to see if he has the motivation to carry on or whether he will give up, and how he will rank his RPE. So cool downs are important to finishing off training and exercise. It will reduce injury by safely and steadily reducing your heart rate and also increasing the lactic acid removal process. The removal of this lactic acid will help recover your muscles from cramp that you may suffer the next day. For the cool down after this session, we will participate in a light jog at an RPE of around 7 for Charlie, which will help slowly reduce his heart rate. And then he will do some static stretches and try and rid of that lactic acid that is built up in his legs. Then for Thursday, he will warm up again, specifically focusing on warming up Charlie's legs, as it will be working on the spin bikes. Of course, we'll stretch his core muscles and arms too, but it's important again to properly ready the muscles we'll be focusing on. And then I will introduce spin to Charlie for the main exercise, as it's a great way to build cardiovascular fitness, and it is easy to use. It is also important as we are building his legs so that he can become more effective when he plays football, which is his interest. And he should work at around a 10 of his RPE scale, and he'll be working for around 15 minutes. for cooling down, he shouldn't change much over the weeks, but the only thing that will need changing is when Charlie has been working on different specific muscle groups. But for today's cool down, he has again been working his legs, so it's important that we cool down this muscle group, and we do that by doing a light jogging and dynamic stretches. For week 2, Monday's warm up. Start this program, we'll again start by enduring a quick treadmill run. Should take around 5 minutes. We've been working at an RPE of 10. Then we'll warm up the major muscle groups that we'll be working over the session. As I'll be introducing the rowing machine, we'll mainly stretch the arms, and a good way of doing this maybe through proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation stretching, or PNF for short, but I have then added skipping into the frame. It's a quick way of warming up and is useful to work your arms and legs with coordination. It also helps get rid of Charlie's tedium over the weeks. But for the first time, I would expect Charlie to manage 10 consecutive skips. For the exercise, I'll introduce the rowing machine to Charlie. It will help him gain power and muscular endurance in both his arms, legs and his core muscles, and this is important for gaining the physical attributes that are vital in football. You're able to hold off your opponent or keep the ball, or you can win it. I would like for him to do 10 consecutive rows at an RPE of 11. For the cool down, this is where the cool down change, as Charlie hasn't been working his legs more convincingly over any other muscle group, as our machine will need more arms and muscle use compared to the spin class. So after the light jog and the static stretches, he should focus not entirely but mainly on the arms, as Charlie will be putting the cable for the whole exercise on the rowing machine, which puts stress on his shoulders and arms, building up lactic acid in his arms that needs to be rid of. So the rest days, though he's had a few rest days over the first week and the second week, I've kept Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday rest days so at the moment, because it's still early in the program, and I've already added some overload into the week. And any more may push Charlie too early and he may give up, lose that motivation that we want to build up. But for Thursday, his warm up, again he will warm up by working the same as Monday with the treadmill, dynamic stretches and skipping, all for the same amount of time and intensity as the Monday session. And then to exercise, just like last week, I will work Charlie on the spin bike and keep the same level of intensity, as he's still new to this gym and the style of exercising, so I don't want to push and overload him too soon. And also need to take into account how he's asthmatic and was an ex-smoker, so I can't push him too hard. But Saturday, I have introduced another day just so I can quickly adapt Charlie to the way he'll exercise in the future. I'm thinking of the future overload I'll use on Charlie. So to warm up, it will be the same as the recent warm-up sessions. So the treadmill and the dynamic stretches and the skips. And then for the exercise, introduce the leg machine for leg extensions, which allows Charlie to do this with a weight. This will help increase power, strength and muscular endurance in the leg. I would like for Charlie to do 10 consecutive repetitions with a weight of 15 kilograms, working at an RPE of 11. And then for week 3, Charlie has now been warming up for 2 weeks, working for 5 minutes on the treadmill. So I'd like to raise him to about 8 minutes, still working at an RPE of 10. Then we'd move on to dynamic PNF stretches, working his arms, and then push Charlie onto 15 consecutive skips with skipping rope. For all activities, I just want Charlie to boost his RPE intensity by 1. Then exercise, for the rowing machine, I'd like for Charlie to push himself onto 15 repetitions, working at an RPE of 13. To cool down, same as last week with the light jog and static PNF stretches. Thursday to warm up, to copy last Thursday's warm up with the light jog, static stretches on the legs. To exercise, the spin bike exercise, I'd like for Charlie to work for 20 minutes at an increased RPE of 12. And then to cool down, a light jog at an RPE intensity of around 10. And static stretches on the legs. And Saturday, same warm up as Thursday, as Charlie still will be working on the legs. Then to exercise, you should do 10 consecutive leg presses or extensions at an increased weight of 17.5 kilograms, all at an RPE of 13. I don't want to increase the weight too much, as you can easily misjudge weight and end up with a weight that may be too large for the client, that may lose their motivation or even injure them. And then to cool down, the same cooling down as the other leg workouts, so the light jog and the static stretches. Then for week 4, Charlie is now starting to being able to push on and improve his cardiovascular fitness but I cannot make the warm up much longer than 8 minutes, as the point of the warm up is only to ready the foreman and not push them before you've even started the actual session. I may increase the intensity and duration in later weeks, but for now I feel it isn't needed. So try as you can running the treadmill for 8 minutes, still working at an RP of 10. Then moving on to dynamic PNS stretches, working his arms, ready for the rowing machine session, and then move on to 15 consecutive skips with the skipping rope. Then to exercise for the session, I feel I should maybe build Charlie's target a tiny bit each week. So for today's exercise, I want them to do 17 consecutive rows at an RP of 13. To cool down, light jogging, static stretches on the arms. Tuesday, I've added an extra day, so Charlie can really push on now and quickly change his lifestyle and physical attributes, and I feel that would be good for going on a run. So as for this day, Charlie will be going on a run. It's a good idea to ready the legs again. Treadmill won't be needed then, as we'll go outdoors, so we'll leave the skipping right back at gym and just do dynamic stretches to ready ourselves for the run. So to exercise, Charlie will be running. It's the most obvious way to train cardiovascular fitness. He'll run 3 miles at an intensity of 14, as you don't want to be running so fast. That's not what cardiovascular fitness is about. He should pace himself. And then the light jog to cool down shouldn't be needed, but just static stretches. Thursday, the 8-minute treadmill run to warm up, dynamic stretches, 15 consecutive skips at an RP of 10. Then moving on to 22 minutes on the spin bike at an RP of 12, light jog and static leg stretches. Then Saturday, treadmill for 8 minutes, dynamic stretches on the legs, 15 consecutive skips, RP of 10. Then do 10 consecutive leg extensions at a weight of 20 kilograms. And then to cool down, a light jog and some static stretches on the legs.